You might see me in the morning, you might never see me again. Sick of this. Another beautiful morning here at the tunnel, and we're going to launch right into it today. We've got a ton of work to do. Let me explain. So in the last video, you seen my struggles getting this minecart up over that ramp. So first order of business today is we're going to flatten this ramp down slightly. And the second project we have here this morning, we got to raise this toe point, build some sort of a rack there to lift that snatch block up. That way the rope's not dragging in the ground so hard. But I'm going to try to go flat out here, get these projects done as quickly as possible to get back in the tunnel. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the black flies are starting to come on pretty strong. So the quicker we can get in the tunnel, the better. Oh yeah. These black flies are starting to get quite annoying. I don't know if you can see them on the camera or not, but getting pretty thick. And if you've never encountered a black fly, consider yourself lucky. You're comparing it to a mosquito in your head. It's nothing like that at all. These guys actually bite and take a chunk right out of you. That's the reason why I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt on a hot day. So I've taken a substantial amount off this ramp. Probably almost a foot up here on the top. So now it's one continuous slope up, but there's nothing for the cart to hook onto, so I think it should skate right up that now. Slick as butter. So the first thing I have to do is replace these small straps that are down around that log that I buried. And this is going to hurt a lot of your feelings, but no, I'm not using chain. I'm using this. This is an old certified lifting strap we used to use on our boom truck. Obviously it was taken out of service, but it'd be good enough for what we're using here. Should last a long, long time. So every once in a while, I just got to come in the tunnel to hide away from the black flies for a minute, take a bit of a break. Here's what that ramp looks like from the inside looking out. So the next step here is level up this dirt right here, build some sort of a cribbing out of the rest of that ash log to try to lift the end of that strap up. It's not exactly what I wanted to build, but I think it'll work for now. It's just an old rotten ash log. Do the trick. So this strap will be draped up over it. Then the snatch block will hook on there. That'll keep the whole thing up out of the dirt anyways. There's a tight squeeze. And these black flies are getting bad. It's a little bit breezy today, so every once in a while you get a little bit of a reprieve. But then in the meantime, they come back even madder than when they left. They go in your eyes and your throat. Now there's one of the camera lenses, in your ears. Judging by last time, I think that should be enough weight on there to hold it down. My only concern is with the strap now coming up a little steeper. It's going to have more upward force on that. But I think it'll be fine. Just going to fire up the generator, get the lights on in there. Let's go in and take a look. So for starters, the water's down to just a slow trickle. Pump cuts in about every, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes maybe. And just pumps for literally 4 or 5 seconds. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is just pull in the sled, load up all this muck, and then knock down some more. It's the name of the game. So a slight change of plans. I'm actually going to take the little jackhammer and take a little bit off this left wall right here. Just a little bit right there, that softer stuff. Just to get it down, take it out in one trip. What is it?
Take your little loopy doopy to that little chunk on there. Chunk of that dark shiny stuff.
So Kylie came down with the intentions of working on her wall, rock wall. But now she's caught the fever as well. She's going through the quartz pile with a fine eye.
Hey, I'm just trying to pick out pieces for my bookends.
Yeah, I made the mistake of promising her I'd make bookends out of this quartz. I cut a piece at home and polished it up. Looks pretty cool. Horrible mistake showing it to her. Man, these black flies are horrible right now. I'm heading back in the tunnel. So that rock with all the sulfides in it I was showing you a minute ago came out of that hole right there, part of that rotten quartz vein. It's really got my attention. There's so much sulfides and iron pyrite and other sulfides in it. You think for sure it would have to have gold. I promised myself I wasn't going to get too worked up looking for gold again. But this vein has my attention. Let me show you. It actually starts right here. It's like a 1/16 of an inch thick. You kind of follow it up through here roughly. Gets here, it's a 1/4 inch thick. Goes behind the post right here. Same thing, about 1/4, 1/2 inch thick. It's kind of hard to follow here at the camera, but it gets thicker right here, completely rotten. Goes right up across, right up through there. Then it curves. It goes right up, becomes a big vein up at the ceiling. Which is also the same vein right here, comes down the far side. Becomes this big monster vein over here. Which is kind of hard to tell, but I think it's the same vein that goes all the way back out through. I think all this is one big quartz vein, this whole tunnel. So guys, I do have a bit of a situation. I've broken the ball mount on the top of this camera mount. So you might see some weird angles for the rest of this video. I've only got one up here at the cabin. So we're just going to have to make do. So if you're on a little bit of an angle, just bear with me till the next video. So that was a bit intimidating. Took a bit of material off the ceiling to the head. Luckily I got a hard hat on. Yeah, give me a bit of a start right there. Thought she was coming down. Now it's raining out. Rain or not, I think I am going to hook up this winch. Pull this cart out of here. Done with this for the day. Get this over with. So we just broke our main winch line. Not 100% sure, but I think I left the snatch block on the line just to save time for hooking it on the tree and tipping the cart over. I think it rode up, got pinched in this snatch block, cut the rope off. Yeah. By the way, that one scratched up. I think that's what happened. So now I just got to cut the broken end off the winch line, pull this out and dump it. So I bent that axle. Frig me. Oh, for frig's sakes. This day has turned into a nightmare. I've had enough of it. I'm going up to the cabin. You might see me in the morning. You might never see me again. Sick of this. Broke the winch, broke the snatch block, broke the winch rope, broke the shovel, broke the camera mount, took a rock to the head, trillion black flies, ticking me off. I'm out of here. So as you can see, I'm back in my tunneling clothes. I haven't quit. But I've been down here studying this all morning, studying my setup. And I've decided what the problem is. And the problem is me. I know some of you just gasped out loud and said, but wait, you're perfect. And you're not totally wrong. But let me explain. When there's a task to be done, I'm a man of little to no patience. It's hereditary. It comes with my last name. So when things start to get bogged down, my go-to solution is usually brute force. That's what I was doing yesterday. if you remember back to the last video, I said I wasn't going to fully load that cart again. And I got in a hurry and overloaded the cart more than I had in it last weekend, or the last trip up here. And so that was 3/4 of the problem right there. So then when it gets stuck and slowed down, I just doubled down, kept putting more pressure on it. That's how things get broken. So I was up in the cabin thinking about it all night. Then I come down here this morning studying it again. And I think I'm going to abandon this winch system and the sled system for something a whole lot simpler. So most of you longtime viewers know that I designed and built this winch from scratch. And I'm quite proud of it. It works so well as a winch. It's super powerful, runs beautiful, pretty much runs without issue, the actual winch itself. The only issue is tangling the rope up and stuff, but that's just the nature of a capstan winch. But the whole system kind of overcomplicates what I'm trying to do here. So I think subconsciously I've just been forcing myself to use this because I made it. So I've been designing any mine carts or any mechanism for removing stuff out of the tunnel around this winch system. And I think that's my mistake. It's kind of overcomplicating the issue. So I think maybe I'll start using it for logging or something and abandon it as a mining tool for now anyways. So I know the first thing everybody's going to comment is you need a rail system, and you're not wrong, but let me show you why I'm not doing that yet. So it's a similar issue to the water pump and natural drainage of the tunnel. A rail's kind of got to work in a straight line, more or less. So I got to come out here, and you either got to dump off the end of the rail or off the side of the rail, which means I'm going to be dumping everything right here. And as you can tell, I'm already starting to develop a new issue right here. I'm slowly building this up into a hill. So most mines with a rail system, the rail will come out to the edge of a hill and dump off the edge so they can kind of keep dumping forever. But I don't have that luxury here. I'm already building this up into quite a hill. That's the same issue I'm having with the sled system I'm currently using. Everything's linear, so it just keeps coming out and dumping in the same spot. Then you've got to double handle everything, level it down with a shovel. A dream project down the road would be this. Get a piece of equipment in, dig a big notch from the road, down at the road grade, right into here. So I could back the ATV with the dump cart on it, off the end of this path. Then have a rail system come out, dump right into the ATV cart. And then I could haul it away and use it somewhere else. But that's a long ways away if it ever happens. But that would be so cool. But that kind of opens up a can of worms as well. Let me go out to the road here and show you. So this road is actually quite steep in itself. The side of the same hill. So there's Kylie's rock wall. There's the muck pile behind it. Tunnel's down in right there. Cabin up there. So you could easily dig in there with a machine to get the access for the ATV. Be nice and deep. Providing there's no bedrock in there, which it might be, but I'd be able to deal with that if I had to. But the problem is, without a covert, you'd be tearing up the side of this gravel road right here on this hill. ATVs just kind of eat the side right out of that. Just a few trips. So you'd have to put in a proper covert and a proper entrance. That means you need a driveway permit. I think it's a minimal 20-foot covert. So that's another $400 or $500. And because the slope of this hill, in the spring when the snow is all melting and it's pouring rain, it's like a river coming down here. You can tell by all the gravel in the ditch. It washes out 5 times a year every spring. So whatever you have to put there would have to be fairly substantial. So right now I'm not all that interested in getting the township involved and putting a covert and everything in here. It's got too much potential to open up a can of worms. So we'll just do our own thing up here for now. But it sure would be cool to be able to dump off a rail cart right into the ATV dump cart. And so another obstacle we face right here, although we're in the middle of nowhere, this is actually a tiny piece of property. It's less than 1/3 of an acre, believe it or not. And so we don't have a lot of room to spread out the muck. If you look at the end of that garden hose right there, that's actually almost on the property line on the right hand side. And so it goes out into a sharp point right out here. So we're kind of limited to where we can spread the muck as well. So we've got to factor all this into our decision making. So yeah, I'm mulling over some simpler solutions. Trying to eliminate motors and rails and just something I can bring out and dump easily by hand ideally. I have a couple things in mind, but I'm open for suggestions if you have any. But anyways, I've got to get the generator down the hill and the lights on in here and get another section of roof up. I don't want another recap of yesterday's incident happen again. So I better get to it. That's my thinking seat right there. Yeah, the water's still trickling, but it's drastically slowed down. So this little coarse vein here still has me intrigued. It's kind of all going to crumble right here. Of course, now my camera light is broken as well. This turned out to be one of those weekends. So right behind you, can't even see you. Just see your silhouette. Come on in, have a seat on the pail. It's my thinking pail. Doing my best thinking right there on that pail. So once again, got quite a pile of muck down. I'm ready for those timbers on that next section of roof. It might be hard to see here on camera, but I've actually got the ceiling angled up. Start sloping the roof up a little bit, give me a little more headroom. So as far as that section, I think we're just about ready to install the ceiling piece. But before I can do that, I'm going to replace these 2 4x4 posts. So I'm going to replace them one at a time before I move on. And from this point forward, I'm actually going to be using cedar logs for timbers. A little more robust, and they should be more rot resistant. These 4x4s are nice, but they're too expensive. So I'm going to use cedar posts. That should do the trick. But yeah, we made pretty good progress despite all our setbacks. But before we can do any more tunneling, we absolutely have to get that roof up. It's getting too dangerous. But that being said, that's all the time I have for this weekend. So once again, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.